Bullseye View.
Yo, we're just gonna get right into it. Got a new coach. Titans hired Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
Nas, how do you feel about this?
Hey, man,
selection?
I'll say this from the start. I don't want anybody to be too high on this guy or too low on this guy. Too many times we've hyped up or shitted on head coach candidates when they first come in.
True.
So I don't want to hear anything about it. Let them come in, build a team, build a roster, and we'll see where it goes, you know. And what I also don't want to see is any more Mike Vrabel comments, man.
Yeah.
Clearly, this guy has moved on. Dude's about to be in the Super Bowl. But what I will say,
So
what I like
Titans
about
that one off, but
exactly. So it is what it is.
Stop talking about it.
That's
Shit.
it. But what I will say about Robert Saleh is that I think he's the closest thing out of the candidates to Mike Vrabel, in meaning that he's a player's coach. So I like the hire, but my big thing is who's going to be the offensive coordinator.
Well, 4 days ago, I tweeted, I would like to see
you
Saleh.
called it out.
I would like to see Saleh match with Mike McDaniel, who was the head coach for the Miami Dolphins, and he's available. He was in town. There was pictures of him online. People was clowning what he was wearing. I don't know why they was clowning him.
I didn't see the pictures.
He had a little plaid suit on, whatever. He was doing his thing, man. Yeah. But I feel like that would be a great addition as well, because you got your defensive coach. For those who don't know, Robert Saleh runs the wide 9-4-3 defense, similar to the one that we ran when Jim Schwartz was here back in my day. So you obviously need to have heat off the edge. So that means we're gonna have to get a pass rusher, because Big Jeff led in sacks. So we're gonna have to get some heat off the edge. Linebackers need to be able to make plays. Making tackles is cool. But you got to be able to make plays. You think of Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shire, who they had here. Those are the type of linebackers that were in there, and I think they got one. Number 33, Cedric Gray. He was balling this year. So, once he can figure out how to make plays within the NFL, and I think Robert Saleh will help him with that process. They've been running a 3-4 scheme that Denard Wilson employed. But now it'll be more of a 4-3 attacking matchup zone, disguise, man-to-man.
Cover 3, cover 4, matchups, all that. Okay, so who do you think the Titans should draft if they stay at that number 4 pick? Do you think we need to go get an edge rusher?
Now, I think I don't know that there's an edge rusher worth the number 4 pick. I can't really think of anyone in the past. I think of Clowney, who was taken with the number one pick overall. Myles Garrett was the only person that I could think of that was generational like that. Javon Curse was taken, I think, like 13 or 16. So I know that you can get great players, later in the first round. I still like them possibly trading that,
getting more
trading
assets.
back. But we'll see, because it's now up to Robert Saleh and Mike Borgonzi to finish putting this team together. I am glad that they didn't bring Nagy up in here.
What's wrong with Nagy, man? Come on.
Yo, you know what? It just was something underwhelming about him. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? To be real, nobody else was seeking him out. They let this man go. Kansas City let him go after bringing him back. So obviously, now they're trying to bring back Bieniemy, or they interviewed Bieniemy. So it's like, obviously, he wasn't getting it done. So it's like mediocrity. It's almost like, why do these owners settle for mediocrity? I can't even get over the whole Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta. He got a worse record than Raheem had in 2 years. And I'm not saying Ross should have stayed. Like, they weren't getting it done. But you're going to bring Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta?
Man.
And if they would have brought him here, one of my things is like, okay, Shador and Cam are cool, so you don't think they talking?
Right.
I think Shador does a great job handling the media, doesn't throw his coach under the bus. Probably could say a lot of things, but he knows it's not about that. He handles the business side. But best believe if Kevin Stefanski was coming here, Cam and him is on the phone
like, man,
what's
up with Stefanski? Like, damn, good luck. So we'll see, but I don't know. That Stefanski hire didn't make any sense.
Because you bring in the guy that
at all.
I don't know him at all, but it's like you watch his persona. So you're bringing that same stale persona that couldn't really answer questions definitively as a head coach for the Browns.
And then you got Michael Penix too. It's still the same kind of situation, I feel like, at quarterback. So I don't. And Atlanta not gonna have it. They're gonna let you hear it.
He gonna bring
24/7.
He gonna bring Gabriel with him.
But what I do like about Saleh is that it's gonna be a true AFC South rivalry now.
Yes.
Because Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh, if you didn't see Week 4, Jaguars versus the Niners, they do not like each other.
Keep my name out your mouth.
Because he said that Cohen was basically cheating and sign stealing. So, hey, 2 times a year they play. So we'll see about that. So after last year, the Titans basically had 2 head coaches, Mike McCoy and Brian Callahan. So what can Robert Saleh do, coming in to win over the Titans team and organization really as a whole, and the fan base as well? Because the fan base isn't too happy about, the past 2 seasons been 6 wins.
Yeah, I would say first it starts with the team, right? Just come in and be yourself. Be yourself. Have a definitive plan of attack. What are your philosophies on defense? Yep. What is your philosophy on offense, special teams, and what is our mentality as a team? And how do we go about developing and creating the identity that he wants to have? Those are the type of things. Because what I do know, I've never had a new coach, or I have Tom Coughlin. He's the legend. He was already established. Yeah. The only thing I could say is when Jim Schwartz left and we got a new defensive coordinator.
Okay.
And
what was his first message? What was that like when
it's like his first message was, we're pretty much not doing the things that were successful before. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He had his own style that he wanted to implement, and I guess that's fine, but he's from the same coaching tree. He was from the same coaching tree, so I understand him wanting to have his own identity. But when, you raise your hand in the meeting and you ask coach, if they run this and they do this, how are we supposed to play that? And he tells you they're not going to do that. Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not solid. So it's one of those things. Players can see through bullshit. So that's why I say Robert Saleh needs to come in and be himself. And look, he didn't, at the Jets, he didn't have the most success. But then again, I don't know that he had the most support. He had 2 7-win seasons.
Quarterbacks was an issue. It's crazy to think now that, like, the NFL, I think, is thinking of the Jets as, like, if you mess up there, you deserve a second chance.
What do you think if it's not a Mike McDaniel? Who do you think, if you know anybody off the top of your head that could come in here and help with the offense?
I was trying to think. I mean, Mike McDaniel is the perfect example of it. I mean, some people say maybe Brian Daboll. What do you think about him? I mean, he could be a potentially one. Mike LaFleur with the Rams. He's the OC at the Rams right now, so that could be solid.
He'd be slinging that thing.
So that could be solid. But other than that, I think McDaniel should be the one. I think McDaniel is the no-brainer, surefire pick. Saleh, has a rapport with them and all that. So.
Harbaugh went to the Giants, obviously missed out on that. I was thinking, like, Harbaugh didn't even play around to even take his visit.
I seen that. Now,
it wasn't a visit. He was actually having the Titans come to
his crib. So I felt like there's a little bit of disrespect involved with that, though. What are your thoughts on Harbaugh just not taking the Titans interview?
Having played for the Giants for 1 year, and obviously, being here for a decade, what I do know is that it's run totally different. And I don't know how the Titans are being run now. I can only, just go off what everybody else knows. Yeah. You know what I mean? But my experience with the Giants is Mr. Mara is at practice all the time. And when I was there, Jerry Reese was the general manager. Jerry Reese and Mr. Mara were at every single practice side by side. Seems as if they was, talking about the team, when obviously talking about the team. But it also says that Jim Harbaugh is reporting directly to Mr. Mara. So showing who is the GM, he's like, "What's up, little buddy?" And it's skipping over him and going to the owner. So that says a lot, because I don't think he would be able to have that relationship here. Obviously, he wouldn't have that relationship here because our owner isn't involved in football affairs, and that's Mike Borgonzi.
Got you. Yeah, I mean, I still don't know how the Giants GM, no disrespect, but I don't know how he still has a job, man. Yeah, Mara must like him or something, because he's gone through was it 2 or 3 head coaches now?
2 or 3 head coaches. He's on the Hard Knocks. With his kid
with
joking.
His kid
but the thing is, what gets me is Mr. Mara said, I would hate it if Saquon went to the Eagles. And what does this guy let happen?
Not only go to the Eagles, but win a Super Bowl
the next year.
God, yeah.
Going into this week and this weekend with the AFC Conference Championship and the NFC Conference, you got Seattle versus the Rams, and you got the Patriots versus the Broncos. And we'll just start with that game. I feel like the Broncos obviously is going to get smacked. Bo Nix got hurt on a kneel down. That's crazy.
And that wild ankle injury broke it. Hey, so I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but they said he tweaked it on the field, but when he was celebrating with his teammates, he broke it, and they kind of keep it under wraps. I don't know.
Hey, look, that's on the injury report. I know who's not worried about it. Mike Vrabel is
not at all.
I feel like they just opened the door for Mike Vrabel to march his team into the
I don't know.
Super Bowl.
I don't know how I feel about the Patriots. They're about to make it to the Super Bowl. They had Justin Herbert and the Chargers, which, I mean, okay, I feel like, the Chargers didn't play too well. But then they get into the Texans, and C.J. Stroud just had one of the worst performances of his career. Now he's playing the backup, So I feel like, not to say that they didn't handle business and win games, but damn, they feel like they had a little bit of easy road. It's not
I would say like this: what you do need to get to a championship and win a championship, something I've never done, but you need a little bit of luck. So obviously we ain't having enough motherfucking luck, but the Patriots are getting all the luck right now. And then you go to the NFC with the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks just handled the Rams just like a few
Niner
weeks
game,
ago.
man. You was rolling with them.
Bang, bang.
Yeah.
Bang, dud.
Yeah.
Bang, dud. 41-6.
That hurts.
That hurts. But
bad.
I'm not really a Niners fan. That's just what I was pulling for.
Shoot, man. The Bears, too. I was rolling with them, man. Caleb had the heroics to get to overtime, but threw the costly pick.
Yeah. You know what? I won't get too much into that. I just feel Caleb, shout out to him and the Bears for what they did. He's going to come back even better next year. Just certain decisions as a young quarterback, man. He went for the play downfield. He had a check down right there. All you have to do is get a field goal range.
Second and 5 too.
Yeah, you live and you learn, bro. You live and you learn, and that's all good.
Let's talk about the NFL offseason. And what I really want to start off with is we've seen Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud in these playoff games.
Yeah.
But they're coming up on their, their contract talks as well. So, first off, do you see did one play better than the other in these playoffs? Like, what's your take? I know I seen you on Twitter with C.J. Stroud. So first off, get what's off your chest on Stroud, man.
C.J. Stroud, I said on Twitter that C.J. Stroud would be the cause for the Texans to lose the game before he's the cause for them to win the game. Because if you watched the division game, the game before last week, he was turning the ball over, very careless with the ball, not really focused on, taking care of the football, a la Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? That being said, C.J. Stroud is younger, so he gets more of a pass. These are all learning lessons, and it's unfortunate because he had a defense that all he had to do was not fuck up. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like he went out there and did it on purpose, but he was very careless with the football. And to answer your initial question, I think that Bryce Young did more for his case to get re-upped right now going into the offseason than C.J. Stroud, because I wouldn't give C.J. Stroud nothing.
You exercise his fifth year or fourth year?
Absolutely. He didn't prove enough.
So he's not worth 56. He's not a $50, $60 million quarterback.
He didn't have a great season. You know what I mean? They had a great defense. He didn't have a great season. Granted, some players on offense were hurt, but still, man, that's what they pay you the big bucks for. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he's earned that. So bounce back, have a rebound this year, and then you're talking. But I think Bryce Young, he went through a situation where he wasn't playing. I mean, he was starting, then he got benched, and then he's been solid all the way through. So
led him to the first playoff appearance.
So maybe it's something that you re-up him, after camp, or you re-up him midway through the season, because that's possible too. But I see Bryce Young getting his bread before C.J. Stroud at this point.
Let me ask you this: as a player's perspective, how does that feel if you're a star player? You feel like you should get that long-term extension, and you're going into the off season, and they're either saying franchise tagging you or doing that 5th year, they're not ready to commit to you long term.
Well, shit, man. For me, like the only situation I was in.
Yeah.
So when I was young, I got re-upped early. Like I didn't get to the end of my deal. Floyd
so you made sure you did it on the field and you get to a long term.
Floyd was like, let's lock this kid up. We got him for the long term.
Yeah.
Had I did it again, I would have just did 3-year deal though.
Why is that?
Why? Because I did an extension and it turned out to be a 6-year, 30 set, whatever. But
broke it up, got paid a little more, huh?
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a better situation. But nonetheless, because I got into the last year of my deal, I can't be mad. I played that whole deal out.
Yeah.
But going into the off season, when nobody was saying anything about, bringing me back for another couple years or renegotiating my deal, I knew what time it was. So I showed up for mandatory OTAs in June, and I came to camp and handled my business on the field. Actually, it kind of sucked because I didn't have a contract and I got hurt, week 15. Yeah. So, that's the situation that ended me up on the Giants. Well, it was great that I went to the Giants. I'm really fortunate for that. But, the writing's on the wall usually, so if CJ or any of those guys don't have a deal being negotiated, they're just going to have to play through it and see if they can get that deal they're looking for. National championship was last night.
Yeah, exactly. And I was surprised.
Indiana. Shout out to my man Wale Agunlier.
Yeah.
He was the honorary captain. He was out there for the coin toss, looking clean in his crimson and red. I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. Cream and crimson. Cream and crimson.
I was shocked, man. It was a great game all the way until, the fourth quarter, and that's when the sparks really started to fly. But, man, I seen Beck do it kind of all season. I thought he was going to be able to drive down the field, march down the field. But, Indiana was legit. You could tell they played 4 quarters of ball. They were good coaching. Everybody was sound. Didn't make too many mistakes. It was just good, college football, man.
Perfect what you said. Two things. The coaching, very sound coaching, and they didn't make a lot of mistakes, right? I would say Miami definitely had their chances to win 100%. That game. Even, they wouldn't even have been in the situation for Beck to throw an interception had they not had the punt blocked, which was a very poor effort by the wing on the right side. And then just all game, I just thought there was a lot of poor tackling, especially from the Miami side. Tackling in the NFL is pretty piss poor as well. I feel like a lot of guys go for the ball instead of the ball carrier now. So, shout out to both those teams, though. They both played their asses off. So 2 guys stuck out. Obviously, Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, he showed up. He answered the call. But Pons, the cornerback, he was out there making plays, bro. He was out there making plays in the pass game, in the run game. I think he just raised his draft stock a lot,
Definitely.
At that level of college ball to be present in the run front, like he was coming up, taking on tackles, pulling guards and stuff like that. That really impressed me. I think he was the tone setter for that defense.
You know what I like, man, on Indiana? And it might have been because of Mendoza in the back shoulders, but 80 made some heck of plays, man. He was making some secure catches. It was no yak, no yards after catch, but he was securing them, getting them first downs.
Yeah, that seemed like they had that timed up. Like Mendoza would throw it short. He had a little jump stop catch. Great entertainment for this weekend. And
it was good, man. So we saw you had your Hope Court message last episode. Y'all guys got to check it out. But my boy Mendoza,
I had 2. I didn't get
you had
one.
2 different messages. Look like for 2 different audiences. But hey, Mendoza has one message every time, always on go. Yeah, it seems like he's running for office every time he speaks.
He's running for something.
But you don't. So tell me about this. This Mendoza. You think it was kind of fake when he fake cried? I turned the TV off after in the middle of it.
After the game, he did his, his
his speech, his rah rah.
2-star, back to Miami. Full circle moment. Just.
He did not cry.
He made the crying sound like he was about to cry.
Yeah.
And then they cut, and then he's just talking to somebody regular. So it's a little. He has acting in his future.
So let me ask you this: how is he going to mesh? Because I mean, he's going to be the #1 overall pick with the Raiders. 1, with the city of Vegas, and 2, do you think Tom Brady? Like, what do you think Tom Brady
Man, you know what? Tom Brady has to think a lot of him because Tom Brady has a similar story in the sense that, well, not the number 1 overall pick, but, when he was at Michigan, he was overlooked. I forget the guy, it was another quarterback. He also played baseball, so they had Tom Brady splitting time. My point is, Tom Brady had his, adversity that he had to go through. Yeah, absolutely. Right. That developed that, and it seems like Mendoza has.
He's got the same little. I mean, say what you want.
He delivers it a little differently. He delivers it a little differently, but he does have an edge about him. You know what I mean? He has to have an edge because he plays big in big moments. Like I don't know that he should be the number 1 overall pick, and I'm not anyone to take that away from him because he's earned it if that's what he becomes. But he's played big any time I've seen him. So I think that Tom Brady would be a great mentor for him. A kid that doesn't have it's not the most physically gifted. His physical attributes ain't popping off the screen. But, he was
a good game manager. I mean, they went 16-0.
Tom Brady could hit him with his Hope Core speech. Hey, kid, you listen to me? One day you could be like Tommy B.
Man, when I was watching the game though, it was like slow motion. When he ran that the QB draw in, I was like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Gosh.
Tackling his ass. He would got his ass blown the fuck up back in the day. But that's why I'm saying he's a gamer.
Yeah, he is.
I ain't mad at him, and transferred and
that's why he has a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, someone that the portal worked out for.
Yeah, and then speaking of the transfer portal, man, you sent me a graphic where I didn't even realize it, but I'm gonna set the basis for y'all. For the past 3 years, the transfer portal has been insane, crazy. I got teammates at Princeton in it right now. Wow. I know high school students who aren't getting recruited because of the transfer portal. So I'm going to read y'all this stat. It says 3,900 FBS college football players went into the portal last season.
That's crazy.
And half of them
found
a home.
That's not even that, because there's not that many roster spots.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it goes back to one conversation we had before when I said, you're either going to be a big dog or you're going to be a bitch. And obviously, but to be serious about it, you're going to have to go through some trials and tribulations. Right. I just talked to you about what Tom Brady went through myself. I went to Syracuse as a safety, and then I come in the spring, they're talking about I'm moving to linebacker. I came here to be the next Ronnie Lott. That's what I'm here to do. So, I didn't take an option to transfer. You just,
you grind it out.
You grind it out. And, Hurricane Ike can't cheat the grind, baby. You know what I'm saying? And the transfer portal is giving these kids the opportunity to cheat the grind. Not the ones that may have put in 3-4 years already at one school, and then they have some more eligibility, and then we go somewhere else. Like Carson Beck, his situation. He got hurt. They told him, look, you're not going to play. We're going to move on. He had some more eligibility. So he went to the U. Mendoza, he was at Cal. He had eligibility. He went to Indiana. So there are successful transfer portal stories, but I think it's the kid that aren't getting the reps. They're probably not doing everything the coach is asking them. They're not doing everything the coach is asking them to do off the field. So they're having a hard time getting on the field, and then they're just equating that to, the coach don't like me. Oh, he's jerking me. I'm gonna jump in the portal. And look, these agents that these kids have, they're getting paid regardless. The agent's getting paid regardless, and putting the kid in a bad situation. And then come February, right now, January, you're hitting your other school back, and then as we were told, and the GMs are like, we don't have your scholarship no more.
We don't have a spot for you no more. So, it's tough, but what I got to say is, man, the transfer portal is for people who are established, and I'm saying like Cam Coleman, the Auburn receiver, he just transferred. It's for guys like that, I feel like. And plus, if you're a 4 or 5 star, you feel like you truly got done wrong, maybe you got the clout behind you to go to maybe a FBS or a FCS school, but you don't want to be in there. You don't want to enter the portal without a plan, man. Just to enter it because you feel like, the coach did you wrong or something. That is not the spot to be in, because at the end of the day, you're also messing up your education as well. So All right, so for Gen Z, Gen X this week, I got something for you. So have you heard of the streaming culture that we got going on?
Man. I don't understand it. Okay. Actually, I was out about a month ago and I saw a streamer, local. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I just know he had a guy following him.
Yeah.
With the camera, and it had it was, shit was new to me, bro. That's why Gen X or Gen Z.
So one of the bigger, you got Kai Cenat, who's a huge streamer, but now is iShowSpeed. You heard of him?
Yeah.
So he's a 20-year-old. He made his living really based off of he was doing impersonations of like Ronaldo and all that, and then he met him, and then he really blew up. But Speed, he did a U.S. tour where he toured all the states.
He went to China too.
He did go to China too, but now he's doing the Africa tour.
Okay.
And what's crazy about it is he's doing the Africa tour. He's going to these different places, Morocco, Ethiopia. But it's kind of like he's pulling back the curtain of like the Western view of how we just view Africa as one big place. We see it as one big continent. We don't see it as, different countries, different people, living. We think that, Africa,
it's developed.
It's developed. They think they living in, in huts and all that. But nah, they have a nightlife. They have a culture. And it's crazy to think that a 21-year-old streamer, is doing that. But first, what do you think of that whole streamer wave? Would you ever, as a teenager or as a kid, sit down at your home, throw on YouTube and watch somebody just, get into the mix or something?
I don't think that I would have the time as a kid because I would probably be out like playing sports or at practice or something like that. But I can see how they do it. I think it takes a lot of self-confidence to actually become a streamer because you're putting yourself out there 24/7. Now, is it your real life or some things fabricated? Those are the things I don't know. But I think that those kids that take the time to do that, shit, props to them, especially if you can monetize off of it. I like what Speed is doing because he's educating. And one of those things that he's educating about is Africa. Like it is a continent made up, that's you could fit all the other continents practically in it. It has the most natural resources in the world.
Exactly.
That's why, the veil is pulled over your eyes. And one of the things he was questioning is why was the Sphinx's nose?
With the noses, huh?
I've seen that.
Which is a real question. Why is every Egyptian artifact they missing, noses and all that?
Well, there's tons of reasons that have been told and tried to be heard and tried to explain, but if it's too close to the truth, they don't want you to know.
Exactly.
There was this book that I read called Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. And it's a really good book by Ronald Sanders, and it kind of goes into the history and origins of Africa to the Americas.
So he on his Ivy League stuff now.
I'm very educated. I just because that's one of the things though, right? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you grow up in America. Christopher Columbus discovered America, and that's furthest from the truth.
Exactly.
Not to get too deep into anything, we could do this another time. But I feel like as a Black American, you need to go back and find your history because the history that they tell you. That ain't it, G.
And they try and erase it as well.
So a little. So I understand and I could appreciate what Speed is doing because he's going into these countries that are, more, prevalent than a lot of the countries here in the state. It's just not the story that's told.
Exactly.
Yo, so I've been loving the feedback, comments, and interaction so far with Bullseye View. Please help us get up to 2,000. We're almost there.
2,000.
Almost at 2,000 subscribers. Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.